Welcome to Rhode Island Lighthouse History. This article, The Heroine of Lime Rock Ida Lewis, is from the September 25, 1875 edition of the St. Louis Globe-Democrat, St. Louis, Missouri, page 7, issue 129. The Heroine of Lime Rock Ida Lewis. Newport, R.I., September 13, 1875. In the upper Tandem circles of Newport, during the fashionable season, it is considered the thing to pay at least one visit to the noted woman who has rescued so many men from a watery grave, Ida Lewis, in her lighthouse home on the Lime Rock, in Newport Harbor. Desiring when in Rome to do as the Romans do, your correspondent found himself, a few days since, ploughing his way, in one of the numerous cat boats which are always seen curtsying over the billows of Narragansett Bay, towards the wave-washed abode of Ida Lewis. Arrived at the Lime Rock, a landing was soon effected, and several loud knocks given to the modest front entrance of the lighthouse keeper's cottage. These proving ineffectual, it was decided to try the rear of the house, and a loud rap at the kitchen door followed. A cheery voice cried out, "Come in," and immediately afterwards the writer entered a plain Yankee kitchen. Bright tins hanging on the wall, a dinner cooking on the stove, and a diminutive black kitten purring on the hearth, while in one corner of the room a young woman of 2 or 23 stood over a wash tub, with rolled-up sleeves and arms plunged in the suds, who was at once recognized as the famous Ida Lewis. At the first glance there is nothing about her which would seem to indicate a heroine, but before long a close observer sees what her real character is by watching her animated play of feature, firm mouth and steady eyes. Your correspondent upon entering removed his hat, bowed, and the following conversation ensued. Correspondent handing his card. "Miss Lewis, I believe?" Correspondent. "I hope that I am not taking a liberty in calling upon you, but having been told that it would never do to visit Newport and leave without seeing Newport's heroine, and being a married man, who has reached the years of discretion, I made up my mind to come."
Ida Lewis. "Oh, sir. I am accustomed to having strangers come here to see and be shown over the lighthouse. 5,000 people, perhaps, have taken the trouble to come from the shore to visit me this summer, and the season is not over yet, by any means."
Correspondent. "Well, Miss Lewis, of course, the reason so many are anxious to see you is because you have repeatedly shown yourself to be the bravest woman in America, is not this the case?"
Ida Lewis. "The truth is, sir, people have exaggerated the little good I may have accomplished in saving drowning men. After all, I have done no more than most American girls would have done if, like one, they had lived all their lives in a lighthouse, and known that by taking a little trouble many valuable lives could be saved. Circumstances alone have made me the heroine people choose to call me."
Correspondent. "But, surely, you don't think that most women would have the courage to put to sea on a stormy night in a frail boat on the mere chance of being able to save a life, when, to all appearances, certain destruction would seem inevitable?"
Ida Lewis. "I honestly do, sir, if, like me, they had strong arms, a clear head and a willing heart, and were accustomed to manage a lifeboat in a heavy sea."
Correspondent. "The last time you risked your life was about 2 months ago. I believe, in saving 2 drowning soldiers near Fort Adams?"
Ida Lewis. "Yes, sir. I succeeded in saving 2 drowning soldiers in my boat about 6 weeks ago. I had more trouble than usual doing it, because both of them were a little drunk."
Correspondent. "How did you manage to get them both into the boat?"
Ida Lewis. "At first I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it, but by dint of calling to them, and reminding them that it was their last chance for life, I succeeded in finally hauling them both over the gunwale of my boat, and then pulled ashore. I hope the men had a lesson, and didn't try sailing again after a spell."
Correspondent. "May I ask who you live within this lonely spot, and how you pass your time?"
Ida Lewis. "My parents live here with me, but as they are both getting on in life, the duty of attending to the light and keeping house devolves principally upon me, and, to tell the truth, I am glad to have these matters to attend to, as, otherwise, time would hang heavy upon my hands."
Correspondent. "I suppose, having so many visitors, you make numbers of friends, and receive valuable presents sometimes. Is this not the case?"
Ida Lewis. "Yes, people are very kind to me, too kind, I sometimes think, for certainly I have done no more than many other women, about whose good works very little is said. Let me show you some of the presents I have lately received." So saying, Ida produced a number of articles supposed to appeal to the feminine heart. Silks, scarfs, hose, gloves, bonnets, dresses, and even jewelry, were among the gifts presented by admiring friends.
Correspondent. Judging from my masculine standpoint, I should say that anyone wearing one half of those articles in a lifetime would never have reason to utter Flora McFlimsy's complaint.
Ida Lewis. And I probably shall never wear 1/4 of them. Why, what need have I, a simple New England girl, of so many fine things? If people want to give me presents, why don't they give me small sums of money, or useful household articles, for we are poor, and every little helps.
Correspondent. Do you expect to spend the rest of your life here, on the Lime Rock?
Ida Lewis. Well, I can't say what I expect. I shall certainly remain here while my parents live. I am happy and contented as I am,